Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex, featured by Trading Analysis. Already 10 years on the markets. We are looking forward for the next 10 years. So we have a little bit of macro data, so we're going to go over that, and then of course we're going to look what's going on in cryptos, total crypto market cap, Bitcoin and Ether, and potentially a couple of alts. So thank you for being with us. So let's review a couple of things. So CPI data, we usually watch the Fed tool just to see what market thinks where the rates are going to go. So the 1st of February, this CPI went lower to 6.5%. A couple of things in the CPI went up. A couple of things went down, but nevertheless we had the print down to projected 6.5%, and I think we're gonna see inflation pause here to the downside. We might even tick a little bit more up in the next one or two CPIs. I'm gonna show you why do I think like that. Anyhow, 25 basis points rate hike on the 1st of February. Current target rate is between 4.75 and 5%. For the Fed, if we switch to 22nd of March, we are seeing another 25 basis points. So we are going to get to 4.75 and 5%, which is the Fed target rate. So market is going for as you can see, after CPI data, this has changed dramatically. So 95.2%, sorry, I didn't refresh that. So now we have 95.2%, which means basically market is pretty much anchoring 25 basis point move on the next Fed meeting. So this all goes into our main thesis, which was actually the theme of the Crypto Lab for the last couple of months, that around these levels Fed is going to pause, and that we are going to see one or two rate hikes on the upside, and then we're going to see a plateau pause, which will last some time, and even from there a little bit of hesitation. Inflation might continue lower, and yields might go into a larger pause for 2023-2024. So let's see how this goes in the charts. So this is the 10-year yields that we are tracking for the last couple of months. I still look for some type of a wave 4 and a wave 5. So this is all around this Fed target rate between 4 and 5%. So we might have a little bit just a movement on the downside, and then potentially one more move up where we're going to finish the first 5-wave sequence, which means that we're going to have some type of a pause coming for the 2024, 23 and 24. As you can see, rates works a little bit slower than the other assets classes. So from 2020, around 25th of February, we needed almost 2021, 2022. So now 2023, 3 years for the inflation to, or for the rates to actually unfold in a 5-wave move. We have a little bit more, I think. I'm not prepared still to anchor this wave 5 here. I think we're going to go back and forth a little bit more until inflation starts to pause. So that sits all in line with what we said before on the dollar index. One of the key components, of course, is the interest rate differential. So as Fed was first, of course, dollar was rising pretty significantly. We have a 5-wave move on the daily charts from these lows, and also on a higher time frame. So we argued before that the inflation, that the dollar might stop around 114, 118 levels. We stopped on the upside, and the exact levels was 114.73. So if we switch to smaller time frames, then we have a 5-wave move unfolding. One of the targets I have for this 5-wave move is around 102.14. We almost touched that. We might have, there is another level here around 101, so we might touch a little bit lower, but then I expect this first 5-way move in dollar index to be completed, and I do expect up until March that we have an ABC pullback on the upside. Pullbacks on the dollar index are relatively drastic and very aggressive. At least it was in the last couple of years, in my experience. So we should expect 50%, 0.618 or 78.6% Fibonacci retracement ratios to work here. Of course, we will know precise and we will measure more precisely when we have the first leg in 5 waves up unfolding, and then we can kind of measure. We also will need a B wave, and then we can measure a C wave and kind of pinpoint some Fib clusters, which might actually indicate where this correction in a dollar index might go higher. I'm just going to show you a couple of currencies. Of course, I do track that market with trading analysis. We track almost everything. So is the euro dollar actually completed here? Also, we are showing here that potentially we are in the last 5th wave on the upside. So we had a wave 1 on the upside, then we had a flat in wave 2, nice developments in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, pullback in wave 4, and now we are in some type of wave 5 on the upside, approaching these levels. We can easily put this 5 here. I would like to see it a little bit more on the upside because of these Fib clusters, but then the ABC will come, and the similar things you can see also on the Aussie dollar, pound dollar, and also dollar yen, which is now moving lower. I think this pattern is also an ending diagonal pattern. So there is a 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5. So I think we are coming closely to some type of a potential reversal on the upside. So we can see that on a couple of markets. Also gold, I think, is tracing out the first 5 waves on the upside, and then we're going to see pullback. So for now, dollar gold is a pure dollar play. As the dollar was topping, gold started to move a bit higher from the lows as we were looking from the area of 1,550 to 1,600. So if you look the previous crypto labs, you will see that this was a zone from where we expected some potential gold reversals. So let me just go back and look the total crypto market cap. So I'm still not prepared to actually announce here the end of this wave 5. This looks like a 3-wave move, and this is the same thing as in Bitcoin. So I'm not going to rush and call the end of this cycle of the downside here, because we can say that this was some type of a flat 5th wave down and we are moving on the upside. For me to do that, we have to go above these levels at 1.04 trillion, because that will be a clear invalidation of the ending diagonal pattern. And in that case, we of course need to see something like this to develop in a wave 3, 4, 5, which will be a beginning of a new cycle, either in a corrective move up to 1.5 to 2 trillion, or we're going to even go higher in 2023 and 24. So I'm going to wait, of course, to see this. In my opinion, we are still not ready to actually call this a low. This looks for now as pretty much a 3-wave move, and in my opinion, we are still not done. I do expect, while also the dollar corrects on the upside and a couple of markets as well, I think that total crypto market cap will have a 3-leg move to complete. After, I will expect a reversal to come some around 700 billion total crypto market cap. I think there we're going to see the lows, and we're going to see an abrupt reversal on the upside around March, in my opinion, of 2023. So if we pair this up with the dollar index, also with the pause, I think with the rates and going a little bit higher in the next 3 months, I think this will actually transpire to one more push higher, and this will be the end of the first cycle. So if we track cryptos as of these macro flow narratives, it will be wise still not to anchor this wave 5 and actually looking. There is a lot of space on the upside until this ending diagonal is invalidated, and then even in that case this will be a first 5 waves, and after a pullback there is a lot of entries, opportunities when you can manage your risk properly. Okay, so I will not be so much excited about these moves that we have seen. So let me switch to cryptos. I hope all of this makes sense. Our overall macro teams has been worked pretty nicely in the last couple of months. If you watch crypto labs that we have put in the last, I think even from beginning of 2000, I think we started with this hypothesis around June, July. I don't remember quite the month. But anyhow, so let's review Bitcoin chart. We have changed the outlook of charts at Trading Analysis. So we switched a little bit to a white one. Maybe they're more clearer. So yeah, same stuff as in Bitcoin. So I don't think this is the end. Wave count invalidation of the ending diagonal is at 21,480. So 21,480. Any ending diagonal is not valid if you pass the wave to highs. So basically we will have to go above these highs to anchor this wave for here. It's really still early for that. We are pretty much still in 3-wave move from this low. So if you subdivide this as a corrective pullback, we are pretty much still in this environment where we can see Bitcoin flushes down to one more push towards these targets that I have. I explained in the last crypto labs why do I think these two levels will be crucial, and if you want to hear that explanation, you can actually go and look these crypto labs and actually see why do I see if we see a continuation further lower, why these two levels are the crucial levels for the Bitcoin. Fifth wave on the downside in the ending diagonal structure should be subdivided into 3 waves, and if we start to go down impulsively, a first wave A down can come down to 15,500. We can get some pullback to 17,000, 17,000 and a half, and then a final push down to 15K. In my opinion, we're gonna stop at 15K. Even in the case we go further lower, we cannot surpass 13,246. So I think in this area, I think we're gonna stop if we have this one more move lower, and this will be my zone where I want to be having some of the very sharp attention focused in a sense that I would like to pick up with some orders these lower levels, because it is pretty defined. The risk is pretty defined in a sense that if you study ending diagonals, this is the levels where we should stop. Okay, in the case we go higher, I will not chase it. Of course, I don't like to chase anything on markets. I will anchor this wave for here, wait for a 5-wave move and wave count invalidation, and then on a pullback I will do basically the same thing. So yeah, to me that has more sense than chasing it. I would like to plan, and we at Trading Analysis we do a lot of planning of anything that we want to do on market. We don't react what is going on. So I talked also in the last crypto lab about the wave count invalidation. So the wave count invalidation for the Bitcoin is here, and we mentioned that a couple of times, 3,870, 970, depends on the data that you have. So in the case we invalidate, we're going to do most likely just an ABC pullback up to, let's say, 30-40K, and then we will collapse further lower. But I'm still holding, in my opinion, when the rates pauses, as we said in 2023-24, as announced here, I think we're going to get maybe a full-fledged 5-wave move on the upside in Bitcoin towards 100K and even more. I still don't know yet, but I'm still not dismantling the possibility, of course, that this is still a wave 4. From the time perspective, we are coming into a zone when this starts to become a little bit risky, because if we measure the wave 2 towards the wave 4 time relation in a fib manner, we are coming to the January 15 to the February 1st, where we must finish these corrections. It can overlap a little bit, but from there we really need to see a stronger push up to 2834K in a wave 1 pullback, and then a continuation towards halving in 2024. If we fail, if we break this wave count invalidation level, unfortunately we'll have to become mid-term bullish and longer-term bearish, because in that case we will see an ABC pullback and then a continuation down towards these previous support levels, which are around this zone, ranging from 3 to 4K or 5K. So we will see when we measure the pullback. So I hope that's clear. So we are still looking this B wave to unfold. Not the B wave, so the 4th wave to unfold. This is still, just let me just correct this. Something was not good on these charts. And let's review Ether. So Ether, as I said before, it's working a little bit better in a sense of the position of Ether towards 200 moving average and a couple of other things. So if I go on weekly here, I do think still that Ether has a better position. I'm still going to look for a potential ending diagonal, still not invalidated. We didn't go over a wave 5. It still can happen. But also we can be in a position where this is just a wave 1 and we are still in a B wave. We are testing now weekly 200 moving average, which might be the resistance levels, and then we might go down in a wave C, and Ether can actually finish before the Bitcoin around 1053, having this wave 4 anchored here already. So as you can see, we are already testing 200 moving average while the Bitcoin is very far from it. So I think also if we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin cross, we are seeing there that in the next bull run, Ethereum will definitely have an upper hand, at least for some part of this run on the upside, because if you can see here, I will just shut down this. This is clearly an expanding leading diagonal in 1, 3 waves down in 2, 5 waves up in 3, pullback in a wave 4, and then we have a straight 5 waves up in a wave 1. We are now in the final wave 2 consolidation. I think Ether will go a little bit more down to 0.061, and then it's going to continue up towards these levels, which clearly explains that the Ether might have the upper hand over Bitcoin, at least for some period of time on the next upside. Of course, if we go further lower, that means that Ether will fall at a slower rate than a Bitcoin. But I think in this case, looking all of the charts, we will probably see this divergence or Ether upper hand on the upside move of both of them. Okay, so I hope that brings some clarity. How do we look on these two asset classes and cross between them? Of course, we have a couple of cryptos that I pretty much like. One of the things that I have been looking for Polkadot, I have spoke about this potential move around this 3.9 to 4.1 zone. We came very close to 4.2, just a touch lower. So this is something interesting, that some of the altcoins potentially might react before then the Bitcoin and Ether, so we might see some type of a 5 waves up potentially develops. I'm still watching. I'm not still ready to completely overrule one more move to the downside. So I'm cautious on this one, but I think we came to our target. So I'm carefully watching what is going on here. So this is a relatively nice wave count coming to to our target, and I think we're going to see at least some sizable pullback, if not a full developed move on the upside, if the cryptos fully recovers and goes into next bull run. So I like this one. I like a couple of more as well. So Solana, I think we are in flat, so I'm not ready to anchor this wave 5 here on Solana. I do think this is just a 335, which means that we're going to have one more push down. So my Solana targets are around 679. And if we take some of the measuring tools as well, and if we throw some retracement levels here, so we can see that potentially we might be in some type of Fibonacci cluster between 0.618 here and 0.618 here, between some of the internal wave relations that we usually measure with a higher degree Fib ratios to get some clustering. So this will be my zone, and of course I would like to see a 5-wave move first to confirm the reversal, and then potentially further developments lower. So this will be my still bearish Solana target, in line with the cryptos going just a touch lower. So that's it, guys, for the official presentation. Let me see what you are saying. Schnitzel is saying don't do white. Our ice is gonna come off. Yeah, mine too. But we made the decision because we are posting some of the things in a couple of reports for our premier stock service, and we had to switch to white. So maybe I'm gonna play a little bit with templates and then go on and off. So potentially I might switch this. I prefer to be black or blue because it's better for your eyes and it's more visible. But this one in white are more neat if you want to do any presentations, send any reports, PDFs to clients. So for now, let me try to play with the templates and see if I can switch this back and forth for the next Crypto Lab. So what's your view on the Bitcoin in the longer V1 gets overlapped in the wave 4? So Abhishek, I explained that, so I will expect an ABC pullback. Okay. Rune, okay. Algo, good day. Can you revert Cardano, please? Thanks, Alex. Schnitzel is laughing. Okay. So let me, yeah, ADA. Technically, ADA is still in a position to do this expanding variety. So as you can see, even if I remove this, we are still not out of this upper channel. Did we reach this 100% relation? No, we didn't yet. So I need to see 5 waves up. So wherever I'm in doubt of something, even if I erase all of this and just look at the overall price structure, and if I say that this is a wave A or a ABC for W, X, and then A up in B, down in C, which will look as a potential complex correction, we can measure them. Okay, so we can put some measuring tools and actually see, do we have some alignment in them. So even if we don't have some alignment, I will look for a different clues. Okay, so we are in this case below equality, which is a good thing because we have seen the push on the upside. So if we further subdivide this into 3 waves, which means that this is a 5-wave move to the downside, pullback in a B wave, and then another some type of a diagonal move to the downside, which I still think it's not finished, but let's say it is, and we can throw a measurement of equality, which comes a little bit lower. So when you have a couple of this clustering, we can also measure this inside. If this one is longer than this one, then wave 5 might be a little bit more towards this level. So I'm still not clear looking all of these informations. Of course, if we look the RSI, which is now in a very annoying yellow, so I'm going to change it into a black. On a daily, it's pretty much up, so this creates conditions for at least a pullback or further continuation. So we will see that. If we go on a smaller time frame, do we see a full 5-wave move yet on the upside? No. Okay, so this is just a 3-wave move, and I do need to see on ADA something in a more in line of a 5-wave move development on the upside. So I need this to continue further up, so I can actually look this as a 5-wave move, and then the pullback will be something that I will be interested on ADA if I look all of these things. Okay. Also, if we put some type of let's say a channel, which are basically secondary information. I don't rely too much on channels. They are very subjective. We have a certain wave in the Elliott Wave model. How do we draw these channels? But anyhow, I mean, even here, if you connect these channels towards these highs, and let me just make this a little bit more visible. Let's take, for example, blue. I don't know if you see it better. So we just connect these previous highs. We are somewhere around there. So until we break this, and usually how this unfolds, guys, you can watch it on the different asset classes. We usually have a break, but we don't have so much strength to continue on the upside. So we see that this, which was playing as a resistance, becomes support. And in a pullback, this will be a support levels. Okay, so it's relatively simply to track that. I'm not the low picker. I don't tend to be, and I don't think of myself to be smart that much to pick up lows and highs. So I'm waiting confirmation, because I think you don't lose much, and to catch the lows, it's you can lose much, and you can spend multiple attempts until you are drawn out psychologically and also financially. So this is a bit more on the safe side, because we like the longer term play. So we have time to wait a little bit more until this gives us a confirmation, a pullback, and then I'm ready maybe to be involved, because I can control my risk. Okay, it's simple as that. So let's look what's going on in Matic. So Matic I like pretty much. I still think we are in a B wave. So until we are in this range, I still think, as in Bitcoin, we're going to have a little bit more downside. And you have to understand, when we process this technically, we are not, especially when you have some type of an experience, you cannot turn bullish until you see signs for it. Okay, so it's better to stay with your outlook, not change it every day, because this brings confusion. So I'm still going to stay, and I think looking at the macro assets developments, on macro developments, that probability is still there. We're going to see another push down, which will actually be transpired in Bitcoin, Ether, and other cryptos as well. So that's it, guys. Let me just see one more. Okay, so let's see Rune. I think that's a Tor chain, as I remember well. Let me see. Do I have? I don't know if I updated this for a long time. Yeah. So in this case, I will label this pretty much the same. So as you can see, we are in some type of a 3-wave move lower with a connector X, and then another potentially ABC. I don't know if this is the end. So we have some type of a potential 5-wave move, but then a pullback will give us the answer. Okay, so as you can see, this is a pretty large move to the downside. 1, 2 down in 3, 4, and 5. Maybe this is some type of a leading diagonal in the wave A. So we can label that as some type of a wave A. 3-wave pullback on the upside, pretty large. So we can label this as a wave B, and then 5 waves down in a wave C. So this is usually a zigzag. We call that a zigzag, although this was a pretty high movement. We lack a little bit of a lows here, but they're around double bottom, as we say it. So I will still say that this is valid, just a three-wave move, and then we have a push on the upside, which might be an X wave. X wave usually it's just a connector. When in this corrective pullbacks, you want to connect to corrective zigzags. So this is the first one. This is potentially a second one. Okay, so there is a five-wave move down with a move on the upside. And also, if you look and address this from the different perspective, but the result is the same. That's a beauty. If you want to relate to this as a flat in B and a five-way move down in C completing here, you can also do that as well. But as you're going to see, the relation in a fib ratio are around the same. Okay, so what I would like to see here on this one, let's say on a 4-hour chart, so we can squeeze. We have some indications that this is some type of a five-way move. Usually you need to pay attention on this move down because you might see some failed fifth waves after, if you're an Elliottician, after this sharp and long move lower. In the case you don't, of course, this is the only pattern that allows wave 4 enter the territory of the wave 1 is of course a leading diagonals, and clearly here this can be the case. So there is a wave 1 down in 2, 5 waves up in 3, pullback in 4, and this is the final push on the upside in the wave 5. I don't think we are in a 1-2-1-2 situation. That will be very bullish. So I will expect a pullback back to this zone 126.1 and potentially one more or a continuation on the upside. So yeah, so that's how I will label this currently. Of course, I will track it whenever I have something on my radar and I want to be involved. I'm usually very active in tracking what's going on there. Okay. So thank you guys. If you like to become our member in the crypto service, or of course into the stock service, you can visit tradinganalysis.com. We have a trial, so you can see what we work there on cryptos and stocks. So please click the like button and subscribe and like button, and thank you for being with us. I hope you have any use of these ramblings that we present, and see you guys next week. Bye bye, all the best.